next thing on the agenda for today is to present the John Gardner Awards and also the Robert Jaedicke Award, named after Bob Jaedicke, another dean of the school, who was a longtime faculty member. So the Gardner, we just talked about John Gardner, the person, and the John Gardner Leadership Award, which we're now going to give out, honors alumni volunteers who have graduated at least 20 years ago and have demonstrated a history of strong volunteer commitment, frequently in a leadership role. And we recognize the Gardner winners because of the impact that they have had on the community over time. And just to call out how important that leadership is, last year of GSB alumni, more than 50% of GSB alumni participated in some way with the school, were engaged with the school in some way, which is really an extraordinary number. And more than 10% of alumni, so that's more than 3,000 of our alumni, were volunteers on behalf of the school. And they did that in all kinds of ways, for alumni programs here on campus, with our students, with prospective students, with interviewing, for admissions, and in all kinds of ways here at the school, and including helping to organize this reunion. So I want to just say that before we turn to this year's winners, we have some people in the audience, I think, who are past winners. So I wanted to briefly recognize them. We have, I believe, 7 members of this reunion class who have previously received a Gardner Award. So I'm going to read out the names, and then I'd love it if those of you who are here would stand up so we can acknowledge you. So from the class of 67, we have John Richards. From the class of 72, we have Pat Connolly. From the class of 77, we have Bill Beckman and Connie Matsui and Jim King. From the class of 82, we have Tom Shannon. And from the class of 87, we have Linda Segre. Thank you. Okay, and now we're going to add 4 more names to that illustrious list, and I'm going to turn it over to Rafe.
Susie Phillips, class of 72, would you please join us on stage? Susie serves as co-chair for her class reunion this year, returning to a leadership role she has played in the past. For several years, she has served as a class agent, and she is currently a member of the Business School Fund Council. Susie is also a Stanford undergrad alum, and she has been equally engaged planning those reunions and serving as a board member of Cap and Gown, the Stanford Women's Leadership Organization, and on the Stanford Alumni Association's board of directors. In planning this year's 45th reunion, one of Susie's priorities has been strategies to ensure that all members of her class feel welcomed and appreciated. Her always thoughtful commitment to identifying and deepening points of connection played a significant role in the class's record turnout. Susie, in recognition of all you have done and continue to do for the school and your class, we are pleased to honor you with a John Gardner Volunteer Leadership Award. Thank you. Andy Cowherd, class of 77, will you please join us?
What are you going to say?
What am I going to say? I'm going to say that Andy asked a terrific question at that last session, and for that, so we are pleased to recognize Andy for his many years of service to the GSB. Andy has been both a planning and fundraising chair multiple times for his class reunions, and like Susie, he has also served as a class agent and currently serves on the Business School Fund Council, where he played a leadership role launching the GSB Legacy Partners to celebrate alumni who make planned gifts to the school. Across all of his service, a hallmark of Andy's work is blending strategic thinking with warm and genuine humor. In other words, he's smart, effective, and he makes you laugh, a winning combination. Andy, thank you for your continued service to the GSB. We're pleased to present you with the John Gardner Volunteer Leadership Award. Scot Duncan, also class of 77. Will you please join us? If you've been keeping track, the class of 77 is about to have the most Gardner recipients for at least 5 minutes. Scott has served on both the planning and fundraising committees for his reunions over the years as well, but he has also been the class of 77's class secretary continuously for the 40 years since their graduation from the GSB.
About 150 newsletters.
Which he says translates into about 150 newsletters. We appreciate not only the longevity of his service, which is noteworthy in and of itself, but also the care he puts into each column. If you enjoy skimming the class notes section of the magazine to see what other class years are up to, I recommend that you visit the 77 column once in a while. Now, I have it on good authority that Scott grows his beard out every fall to prepare for a recurring role as Santa Claus in December. And in that spirit, Scott, we thank you for keeping the class of 77 on your list, for letting us know who's been naughty and who's been nice, and for spreading good cheer to one and all. It is our pleasure to present you with the John Gardner Volunteer Leadership Award. Bill Duhamel, class of 1987, will you please join us on the stage? Bill is also a repeat offender as a reunion volunteer, including as chair. Last year, Bill was an instrumental leader of the successful fundraising effort to name the Center for Entrepreneurial Studies in honor of faculty members Irv Grossbeck and Chuck Holloway. He currently serves as vice chair of the GSB Trust, a board responsible for investing a portion of the school's endowment. Bill has served several times as a class speaker and panelist for current students. Bill is also a Stanford undergraduate alum, and when not giving back to the GSB, he can be found chairing his undergraduate reunions, serving on the Advisory Council for the School of Engineering, and serving on the Advisory Council for the Stanford Center on Longevity. Bill's been known to participate in the famous or infamous 87 poker group, and, along with his wife Kate, MBA class of 88, has remained very connected to classmates and other GSB friends since graduation. Please join me in honoring and thanking Bill for his service. So the Gardner Awards were first presented in 2002. And in the 15 years since, a total of 65 alumni have received this honor, including 4 just now. Today, we'd like to do something for the first time, and that's to present a Gardner Award to a group of volunteers. We weren't sure if this was allowed or not, so we decided to look at the rules for this award, and it turns out there are no rules. So in the spirit of the GSB, we felt free to do something innovative. We are pleased to present a John Gardner Volunteer Leadership Award to all those members of the classes of 67, 82, and 87 who have served as class ambassadors. This role was created almost 5 years ago in the wake of your last reunions, when 3 dedicated alumni, John Richards, class of 67, Victoria Chang, class of 82, and Pam Brewster, class of 87, volunteered to look at ways to keep GSB classes better engaged in between reunions. These 3 leaders recruited another 30 classmates to join them in this endeavor, and the class ambassadors were born. Since there was no roadmap for this role, each class and each ambassador was free to pursue their own strategies on keeping the class connected and what that might mean. In some cases, that led to more events before football games, at the Jasper Ridge Biological Preserve, and at alumni homes around the globe. Sometimes these were simultaneous gatherings around the world on, say, the 82nd and 87th day of the year, better known as late March for those of us who don't calendar in quite that way. Other efforts aimed at getting in touch with every member of the class. With the class of 67 and class secretary John Wild, that led to the longest ever class notes column to kick off their 50th reunion year. meriting a special publication. In other classes, ambassadors made reaching out to distant classmates a regular part of their travels around the globe. Perhaps some of you attending this reunion are here thanks to the work of a class ambassador who contacted you out of the blue to get you engaged after a long hiatus. I ask that all those who have served as class ambassadors now stand so that we may thank you for your service to your classmates. Congratulations to all of you on this shared John Gardner Volunteer Leadership Award. And here's a note for everyone else, in case you were inspired by hearing about this program. So just like Dorothy didn't need those ruby red slippers to get back home, you actually don't need to be a class ambassador to reach out to your classmates. By the powers vested in me by the Stanford Graduate School of Business, I hereby authorize each of you to contact classmates you haven't spoken to in a million years and tell them, I know it's been a long time, but the director of alumni relations told me I could call you and see if you have time for coffee while I'm in town. Meet me at the Birds. I hope you find this to be a fruitful mission. Good luck and Godspeed. Now, we have one more terrific piece of business this afternoon to get us in the mood for our next session, and that is the presentation of the 2017 Silver Apple Award. The Robert K. Jaedicke Silver Apple Award is presented annually to a member of the GSB faculty for service to the school's alumni. It is named for Dean Emeritus Bob Jaedicke, who joined the GSB as a faculty member in 1961, served as acting dean in 1979 and 80, and as dean from 1983 to 1990. It is our pleasure to present the 2017 Silver Apple to Professor Paul Oyer. Paul, will you please join us on stage? Paul is the Fred H. Merrill Professor of Economics and a senior fellow at CEPR, the Stanford Institute for Economic Policy Research. He is also co-director of the GSB's Center for Entrepreneurial Studies. He's been with the GSB since 2000, teaching a variety of management and economic courses. During Paul's 17 years at the university, he has given tirelessly of his time to our alumni, where his relatable, humorous stories and examples help to demystify economic trends for our alumni. A popular reunion talk comes from his book, Everything I Ever Needed to Know About Economics, I Learned from Online Dating, which may be the most fun way ever designed to teach microeconomics. Paul has spoken on this topic and many others at chapter events from Austin to Malaysia, from Toronto to the Philippines, from speaking in regional chapter events to meeting with alumni while leading student global study trips, and always being willing to speak to our reunion classes. Paul is ever a gracious faculty volunteer. Please join me in thanking Professor Oyer for his generous service to the GSB alumni and congratulating him on receiving the 2017 Robert K. Jaedicke Silver Apple Award.